Hello dear friends, Fisher here. So today we'll read doing the story 34, part 2, for a nice lady named Rosa, who suggested the music in the video was a little too loud. I will ask you for forgiveness because I was new to making video records. And okay, let's begin. So Bruno said, "In the other world, everything is present. It is only here, in the material world, that things pass away. That is why every human body is limited in time, and mine as well. Compare with the other people. The time allotted by God for my sons was very short, only 9 and 11 years. All three of us were aware of this and accepted it. Even though it would have been lovely to live together on the earth for a longer time. Since this had already been decided, I could not intervene to help them. And this was something my wife did not understand at all, and she made the bitterest accusations against me, and pointed out that so many wonderful healings had already occurred in my presence. And then she kept on asking me, "And why aren't you doing anything? Why is it that our children don't get any help from your God?" And I could not make it clear to her that in the spiritual world, there are other considerations that determine when a human being, no matter what the age of their body, leaves this earth in order to accomplish tasks that God has allotted them in the other world. So dear friend, it's very simple. And in our life, at least I see in my life, it's full of puzzles. It's the puzzles we gathering. So let's say we have 10,000 puzzles in life, in this earthly life. And when we are 5 years old, we only know 20 puzzles. So our perception is whatever the picture out of that 20 puzzles. So we might see a rabbit at that time. So by the time we turn 20, we might have like 200 puzzles or even 500 puzzles. So the picture of the puzzle together, and we see out of the limited perception of our eyes, physical eyes or mind, is a deer. So we are constantly limited by ourselves. That's why we should always expand. That's why I explain like lots of people, they don't understand what the God plan is, because God consider in the spiritual world. And then most of the time, and most of us, we only consider, oh okay, so do I have good food to eat today? Do I have a nice car to drive? Do I have a fancy house or have beautiful boyfriends and girlfriends? Are my children all well off and then they're very, intelligent, have IQ 150? So there's lots of things, lots of earthly things we calculate every day, but that's not God's calculation. So we always feel pity, oh, there's newborn or 1 or 2 year old baby, they die, we feel sad. And then some people will lose their faith, and then they say, oh, look, I pray to God very hard, and why my baby still die? And he or she is only 1 year old. So because constantly we're limited by our perception of reality, or the picture we see out of the limited puzzles we could possibly see with our limited understandings. So we only see very, very a thin veneer of what's going on in the universe, what's going on in our life, in other people's life. So because this limited understanding, we always blame, look, this is, like somebody else's fault. Why God didn't bless me, we always, out of our ego, always demand what we want. And then some desires are good, and then some are bad. Dear friend, So if everything goes so smoothly, we have all the earthly, the material, the gold we have, and then what's the benefit of that? Where is our faith come from, dear friends? If we only see, okay, all the materials, enjoyments, God bless me. And then only when we're in trouble, and then we show our faith to God. Only when God do not hear our prayers, and then our faith persists. Oh, I've been wanting a motorbike. I have a friend. Oh, I've been wanting a motorbike since I was 15 years old, but I didn't get it when I was 30, because it was the right time for you to get it. Think, dear friend, if my friend had got his motorbike since he was 15, he might have an accident for being a young and inexperienced. So sometimes what we don't have has a blessing in it too, because God knows the best. God always knows what we should have and what we should not at that particular moment, for our own good, for our own protections. And then you might hear this all the time, dear friends. But when the matter comes to you, especially your loved ones, it's always difficult to believe, it's always difficult to accept. I used to know a lady, and then she came to our community hour, and then she always wanted children, and then she keep asking God for children, and then she doesn't get it for like more than 10 years, and then she lost her faith like at the end. So I want children, why don't you give it to me? That is not asking, dear friends. You asking is okay. You asking to your friend is, can you please give me this and that? Can you please help me? Your friend will determine whether he or she can help you or cannot out of their abilities. And then demanding is, you must help me. How you think you should demand from others, dear friends? Why others has to always fulfill your demand? And why God should fulfill your demand? Why we should demand from God all the time? How often do we ask ourselves, oh God, how can I serve? How can I make myself a better person? How can I give the love I receive from you and then pass to our neighbors? How often do we ask to help God? Dear friends, if we only do things for ourselves entirely, purely, that's ego. That's egoistic, isn't it, dear friends? I don't mean to criticize, but it is. So it's nothing wrong thinking about oneself, but it's everything wrong thinking about only oneself. So, dear friends, please have faith in God, regardless in any situation. For things you desire, if you don't have at that particular moment, that probably means you're not ready for it. When you're not ready for it, it's not good for you. I can always say that. And we do not give any weapons to 3-year-old children. They're going to harm themselves. So, and same thing as what God does as a great Father, Mother, and our Creator. Always give us and bless us with what we should have. And then before we demand or before we get upset for what we're not receiving from God, first ask yourself, dear friend, am I ready? Am I ready? Am I really ready to receive God's divine blessing? If it's not, please make yourself ready, and then you shall receive. Okay, dear friends, I wish you have a good day and God bless.